Hello, welcome to this lesson on monetary policy. First, we're going to look at the money market model, which shows us the demand for money and supply of money. Now, the money supply is controlled by the Federal Reserve System, the Fed. Um, and the equilibrium here is going to tell us the nominal interest rate in the economy and the quantity of money in the economy. Now, if the price level goes up or incomes go up or money technology gets worse, then the demand for money is going to increase. This is going to cause the money demand curve to shift to the right, which means that the nominal interest rate will increase. Now, the quantity of money is not changing because that's controlled by the Fed. So the only thing that's changing is the nominal interest rate is increasing. If the price level in the economy goes down, or if incomes go down, or if money technology gets better, then the demand for money is going to decrease, which is going to make the money demand curve shift over here to the left. And when that shifts to the left, the nominal interest rate is going to go down. However, the quantity of money is going to stay the same again because that's controlled by the Fed. Here we're going to look at traditional monetary policy. Traditional monetary policy is used by the Fed uh, before the 2008 financial crisis, when we had something called limited reserves to control the money supply and interest rates in order to stabilize the economy. And pre 2008, the Fed had three tools for their traditional monetary policy. It was the reserve requirement ratio, which is how much money banks had to hold in the required reserves; the discount rate, which, as a lender of last resort, if a bank came to the Fed and asked for a loan, the Fed would provide it but charge an interest rate called the discount rate; and open market operations, which is when the Fed buys or sells bonds to banks. And remember, bonds are loan certificates like IOUs made by investors to businesses or governments. But the Fed can buy and sell these IOUs, just like a regular investor could buy and sell the bond certificates. Now, to increase interest rates and in doing so decreasing the money supply, the Fed's going to increase the reserve requirement ratio, increase the discount rate, and sell bonds in the open market. You can see here on the money market that if they decrease the money supply by doing these things, the money supply curve is going to shift to the left, resulting in a lower quantity of money in the economy and a higher nominal interest rate. When interest rates are higher, that's going to mean people are going to borrow less money, which means they have less money to spend, and less spending means that aggregate demand is going to decrease. This is called tight money policy or contractionary monetary policy. You can see here that because aggregate demand is decreasing due to lower spending, it's going to shift to the left, which results in price levels going down, real GDP going down, and higher unemployment. To decrease interest rates, that's going to increase the money supply. And they do that by lowering the reserve requirement ratio, lowering the discount rate, and buying bonds on the open market. So all of this is going to increase the money supply, shifting the money supply curve here to the right, leading to a higher quantity of money in the economy and a lower nominal interest rate. With the lower interest rate, people are going to borrow more money, which means they have more money to spend, and more spending leads to an increase in aggregate demand. This is called easy money policy or expansionary monetary policy. An increase in aggregate demand is going to shift it to the right, which leads to a higher price level, higher real GDP, and less unemployment. Now, this is with the traditional tools the Fed had pre 2008 financial crisis. Nowadays, they have some new, more modern, updated tools. That's it for this lesson. See you next time.